Well, the Brits have won the race. The UK will be the first to roll out a COVID-19 vaccination program. British regulators this week gave the green light to the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for public use. Authorities are prioritising 9 groups of vulnerable people. The first jab is expected to be delivered early next week.
We've been waiting and hoping for the day when the searchlights of science would pick out our invisible enemy and give us the power to stop that enemy from making us ill. And now the scientists have done it.
It will take some time to get it to all UK communities. There are many logistical issues to overcome, including keeping the vaccine stored at -70 degrees. The head of the Australian Therapeutic Goods Administration says we are still weeks away from any vaccine candidate being approved for use here. So will all Brits roll up their sleeves? Will they be forced to? And how will it affect Australia's battle with COVID-19? I spoke earlier with Oxford University's Dr. Peter Droback. Well, generally speaking, how was this news received in the UK?
Well, it's generated a lot of excitement, obviously. For many, it shows that there's perhaps a light at the end of the tunnel. It's also raised a lot of questions about when this is going to come, when might my turn be. And of course, there's still such a long way to go, right? It's great that this first vaccine has had emergency authorization, but the big challenge now is going to be the logistics challenge of rolling this out. And so a lot of the discussion recently has been about the prioritization, and it's been made clear that health workers are going to be the first, along with care home residents and care home workers.
And of course, the more people who get the vaccine, the less likely the virus is to spread. So in your view, is there a reason to make vaccination in the UK mandatory?
Yeah, so again, we don't exactly know yet with these vaccines that the clinical trial data haven't told us how effective the vaccine is at preventing infection. So it is possible that somebody who has the vaccine might just not get symptomatic infection, but might get a low level of infection and be able to infect others. That's just a hypothetical right now. We don't have the data. So we don't know for sure how effective the vaccine is at slowing the spread from one person to the other. Presumably it does so, and does so very effectively, but it's going to take some time to figure that out. As to whether to make vaccines mandatory or not, that's going to be a societal question. There's a lot of mistrust out there, and there's a lot of, I guess, skepticism and fear about a vaccine that's been developed so quickly. I think it's an extraordinary scientific achievement, but there are reasons why various groups of people might be hesitant to get a vaccine. I think at this stage, what we need to do is focus on transparency and giving people good information and encouraging them through positive incentives to get the vaccine, rather than forcing everyone to get it, particularly right now when it's still early days.
Well, 32% of UK citizens said they would probably get the vaccine, according to one poll from The Independent. So it sounds like there's not a huge level of enthusiasm around this.
That's right. And those 32% of people may not have reservations for the same reasons, right? And so we're going to have to really understand the viewpoints of those folks, understand what motivates them, and try to find messages and ways to persuade them positively. A big part of this is about trust, right? And sure, there's skepticism maybe because this happened so quickly, so we have to help people understand the rigor with which this was done. But then there's also trust in our leadership. And, through this pandemic, particularly in a place like the UK that has really struggled with COVID-19, that has one of the highest death rates in the world, which had a government which hasn't always made great decisions or been on the level, there have been some breaches in trust that are going to have to be overcome if we're going to rally everybody together to work towards this light at the end of the tunnel.